In a news update for April 24th, 2018, had some breaking news stories to add to the pile. Today we have a security risk where we could be up for more security attacks due to our cyber grid. We believe that the attacks that both happened in Atlanta, Georgia just a few months ago, and also what happened over 900 miles away in Maryland were no coincidence. These were planned strategic strikes, and it was our government alphabet super teams conducting drills that caused those attacks. They were not from outside this country. They were actually internal to be done. Secondly, we realize that in Fargo, California, there has been cancer-causing chemical agents that were found in the drinking water supply. I repeat, in the drinking water supply in Fargo, California, there has been found chemicals that are linked to causing cancer in that area. So if you wonder if there's spikes of cancer in your area, you might want to look closer to the glass of water that you drink. Could be linked to why more people are getting cancer in your area where you live, not just in Fargo, California, folks. So you might want to have your water tested here because it may be all over in all the water supplies. Think about it. They've been trying to kill us many ways. And believe me, these are the ways they're doing it. So, like I said, filters don't filter out these agents either. Not all water filters have that capability. So if you have a filter, make sure it's able to filter out these cancer types of agents because they can if they're more expensive. But the regular one you buy over the counter that's cheap will not filter that out. Also, lead is a big culprit. Many people had to suffer and pay great expense to replace the lead piping in the water outside in the ground in their home themselves where the county or city would not do it. They had to pay for it out of their own pocket. So that lets you know where is money going to replace these pipes that are aging in the infrastructure and why a lot of people are getting cancer because lead will do that and so will cancer-causing agents that these companies are putting into the water. So if they're doing it in Fargo, I'm sure they're doing it everywhere else. Think about it. And another thing, just be careful out there. If you get any weird calls from the IRS saying you owe money or you're going to get a bigger tax fund, or if you have any computer scams, or where someone's calling you, it's a scam because they're calling you because you don't have a computer, and they're saying there's something wrong with your Windows machine, or if you do have one, and they're telling you and you don't have it on, and you never called a representative, don't fall for that scam because that's what it is, and they get you to go to a website to download some software, which ends up being a Trojan, so they can get in your computer and own it and do whatever else they want to do with it. So if you receive one of these calls saying there's somebody trying to fix your computer, just hang up. Don't say yes or anything, just hang up. And, be careful of these calls that are calling your home for, credit card, resolution or resolving. Be careful of phone calls that you may get as being in the mail from your insurance company. Because some of these insurance company calls may be sounding legit on the surface, but they may not be. Be careful. Always ask who they're with. Always get their badge or ID number when they call. Find out what the purpose or state what the purpose. Have them state what the purposes of what they're calling you about. Find out what they're from, and then call your insurance company. Have them call you back at a later date, and write this down, their number and everything. And then call them back. And if it's legit, then you can do the transaction. But don't just take their word for it that they're with your company trying to sell you something or give you something for free, because it could be a scam artist trying to take advantage of you. Think about it, because it is on the rise, by the way. And they may say they're with your insurance, and they may not be. They may be just out to run your insurance to do fraud on your card, on your insurance card. So think about that. Also, story number 3: the daughter's father who killed the daughter was actually convicted for the crime that he did of murdering his daughter by putting her remains in a suitcase that was found outside a New Jersey railroad tracks. So just say, thank the Lord they got that sicko in prison where he belongs. Because that guy should not get away with it. Nobody should be murdered in that fashion, even if it's a kid or an adult, for that matter. That's just crazy and it's sick. And anyone that does stuff like that don't need to be walking the streets anywhere. And of course, I'm glad he's in jail where he belongs. Also, they turned down the tax, the 80-cent tax on the cigarettes we found out today. They scoffed at it, said no, they're going to find other ways on how to make money or generate revenue for the city's aging, dilapidated, repairing schools that they have. And hopefully they'll find other ways to do that than putting a tax on the merchants and also taxpayers of Richmond, Virginia. So it only pertains to Richmond, Virginia residents. So hopefully they'll find another way to do it, because 80 cents, that's a whopper of a tax per pack of cigarettes. You realize I don't know how many packs are in a carton, maybe 10 or 12. I think it's 10 packs. So you realize 10 times 80, yeah, thanks. 10 times 80, you realize, what is that? That's like $2 or $3, almost $4 and something, almost $5 on your cigarettes. So if you're paying, I mean, I don't smoke, but I know they might be $120 down here. Up north, I think they're around $200 a carton. That's how high they are up there. They're $7 a pack up in New Jersey. I kid you not. Down here, I think they're about $4 and some change. So if they add that tax on in the city, you know, it's going to make your cigarettes go up to around $145 probably. So, I mean, per carton. And if you do it per pack, it's going to make them go up to around almost $6 a pack. So we're not too far away behind from New Jersey. It might be $1 and some change different, but not much. So, you know, hope they find another way on how to do it. Because I believe, and I'm all for the schools getting repaired and fixed up, but I don't think it should come through the cigarettes. I think it would put a lot of merchants out of business. It really would if you look at the data. And it would really cause a lot of problems. And I'm just speaking for the merchants and for everybody. And I don't smoke, so that's not why I say that. I'm just saying it by basic common sense. We'll be back with more news. In case you can't read, tomorrow there will be a meeting in the main office in Harbor Square dealing with customer relations, is what it's called. CCR is what it's called. It is coming from the American Apartment Management, so this is just for FYI if you can't read it. The meeting times are from 1:30 to 2. 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. The second time for the meeting is 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and then 3 to 4 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. And basically, it may be the same guy or a different guy that will come out here to host that meeting. But basically, I'm taking these times to mean per building. So if you are in buildings 1 through 3, you come to at this time 1 to 2. If you're in buildings 4 through 6, you come. It doesn't have it worded here because someone typed this all fast, probably left that out. But I would assume that's what that's implying. 3 to 4 would be for that, or no, 2 to 3 would be for that. And then, of course, 3 to 4 would be for the remaining buildings, which would be 7 through 10. So whoever typed this up should have put that on here, but I'm assuming that's what that's for. It doesn't mean you can just pop in free for all. I think it applies to the meetings that came out here in January, not December, but somebody had I don't know what happened there. It was in January, but they put December. But I think this is kind of what applies to that. It's the same type of where they're following up off of that. So they'll be back out here again tomorrow between those allotted times. So if you weren't sure what this was that was on your door, wasn't very well clearly, hopefully we've cleared up the madness for you, and that way you'll know exactly what it's about. Okay. So anyway, that'll be in the multi-purpose building tomorrow. So make sure you're there for that, because this has a lot to do with your health, your rights, and your staying or living here at Harbor Square. So make sure you're there. It's attentively make sure you're there, because it may help you. It may help your situation out. So please make sure you be attentive to that. Okay? All right. So anyway, that's just some of the news stories that we have for you right now. And we'll have more news as we get it. Keep it right here.